Unholy stars Cricket Brown as Alice, a hearing-impaired girl who's visited by the Virgin Mary and can suddenly hear, speak, and heal the sick. As people flock to witness her miracles, terrifying events unfold. Are they the work of the Virgin Mary, or something much more sinister? Based on the 1983 novel Shrine, this is the directorial debut of Evan Spiliotopoulos, who also wrote the film, and is produced by Sam Raimi through his Ghost House Productions banner, which is mainly what piqued my interest, along with the fact that Jeffrey Dean Morgan stars as the journalist chronicling the case. I never read the original novel, and I'm unsure of how that's been received, but this did have some intriguing things thrown in there. It's implied that possession's involved, and the overall aesthetic made me think this might be something of a throwback horror movie, especially since Raimi attached his name as producer. Unfortunately, that wound up not being the case here, and this movie ended up being not all that good. I do think it's a tad better than the abysmally low scores on sites like Rotten Tomatoes implied, but I still wouldn't say I ultimately enjoyed it overall. The film feels very formulaic, and you can tell where it's going very quickly. Good things begin to happen, but you know there will be a catch to just about every nice moment we see, and by the halfway point, things start spiraling out of control and everything becomes chaotic. And it hits all the notes at the exact moments where you'll expect them to happen. There felt like there were no surprises here whatsoever. It tries to play into its religious themes, including a brief text about false prophets at the end, as if it was trying to have a message, but really, most of it feels hollow, and you wind up leaving the film taking away next to nothing, as it doesn't exactly try making its themes its focal point. Outside of arguably Morgan, no one goes through an arc, no parallels to anything we as the audience can relate to, or anything. Instead, we're subjected to jump scare after cheap jump scare, with things popping out, characters hallucinating demonic creatures, or seeing them suddenly appear in nightmares. And we get these in nearly every single scene throughout the entire movie, as if that's all anyone knows what to do to scare the audience. Other than a handful of genuinely creepy setups, the film never once goes for atmosphere or suspense to try getting under the audience's skin. And on top of that, it may have just been the theater I was in, but the sound mixing was so annoyingly harsh that these moments became borderline aggravating because they were just so in your face. The one area where this film actually does a commendable job is the performances. You have a pretty solid cast here, which includes Morgan, Katie Aselton as a doctor observing the case, as well as William Sadler, Diogo Morgado, and Carrie Elways as the various religious figures who are also heavily invested in the proceedings, trying to make sure that what's being experienced isn't fake. And I gotta give them a lot of credit, as they do give this very one-note story a lot more life than it actually had. During the moments when it was any combination of actors just having a discussion, those were more engaging than the actual horror elements, just for the fact that they gave it their all and made each of these characters seem much more compelling than they really were, especially Morgan. The only knock against any of them that I'd say I had is that Carrie Elways' delivery does come off as a little cartoonish, but given how dull the rest of the movie was, it was welcome in this case. I didn't hate this movie, but I honestly wouldn't recommend it either, as it has its moments, but it's mostly derivative, with nothing actually interesting to say, instead falling back on cheap tactics that grew old years ago. The cast makes it way more bearable than it could have been, but I'd say if you're looking for a good horror movie, there are so many better options to go with. The Unholy gets a 5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see The Unholy, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find this scary? Are there any good religious-themed horror movies you've seen lately? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.